Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Hey We're Talking. Bob, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm okay. It's very hot in South Carolina. It's warmed up quickly. I think, Derek, you've got some pretty hot weather down in Texas right now, too.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Scott. Hey, Bob. How y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, everybody. Thank you all for listening. I guess you just did that, Scott.
Yeah,
Introduced
it's
the
okay.
show.
I mean, it
But
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
it's nice. It's in the 90s here in Texas. It's a little windy. We got the big cumulus clouds. I think we're gonna have some thunderstorms tonight, maybe.
That's
Nice.
good for gardens.
Do what?
That's good for gardening. You know, if you got a garden, like I planted my garden recently, so that's good. Rain.
That does not sound fun at all. I do not have a garden.
We're off to a rip-roaring start here as we give the weather and the clouds and talk about gardening. Why don't we switch gears? Off of gardening. Although I think you guys said you wanted to at some point do a show on gardening, didn't you, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
What?
Yeah, it was.
Great.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it is a topic of some interest, even though I personally do not want to do that because I'm usually asleep during the day, and that's what I would imagine is prime gardening time, like during the sunlight.
No.
I usually fill that sunlight time with, hey, we're talking episodes and
sleeping.
hanging out with sleeping, hanging out with my family, stuff like that. But
Bob,
I live in a different universe than everybody else. So.
Bob, you're a gardener, so go ahead and give it your quick plug and see if it's interesting enough to have a show about.
No, I just kind of going off of what Derek said. You know, Derek, mornings and evenings are the best time to garden, right before the mosquitoes come out, all that stuff. But yeah, we just we plant our veggies and all that stuff and garden, and that's going to be the end of this conversation about gardening because we want to talk about bathroom nightmares.
Way to start your Monday off. Yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about bathroom nightmares. Now, what does that mean? Exactly what it sounds like. I don't think you have to imagine too much. In fact, there's probably a picture in everybody's mind already of what a bathroom nightmare is.
We've all definitely walked into a bathroom somewhere and we've got to go. You know, the urinal is not an option right now. So you open up stall number 1 and what do you see?
Bathroom nightmare.
A bathroom nightmare, and
a
it's
poop
a
crime scene is what you see.
So Scott, you're the one that said I've got so many stories about this. Why don't you go rattle off a story? We'll see if Derek's got something. I'll throw in a story or two, and we'll see how far into the show we get.
Oh, how deep into the poop we get. All right, let me just say this right off the bat. When you said you walk into the bathroom and you got to take a number 2, when you got to drop a deuce. Have you ever gone into this? Routinely will happen if you go to like a bar type establishment or a restaurant that seems to not care very much about the bathrooms. There may only be 2 stalls and a bunch of urinals, and either there's a person in the stall or both stalls have been wrecked beyond recognition. In that case, what do you do? That's my first question. When you walk in, if both crappers are completely destroyed, what's your go-to move? What are you doing here? Because let's say this is so urgent, you're at the point of you're going to mess your pants. What do you do?
Go to the women's bathroom.
I have done that as well.
That's an option.
It is an option. I mean, especially in North Carolina, go for it. So you could go to the women's restroom, but if you have to stay in your gender assigned bathroom, what do you do? Go ahead, Bob. Tell me what you're going to do. This is like a pick your own adventure here. Go ahead.
You've got to find a way to clean it up.
Yeah.
In some sense. I mean, you could hover easily.
No. I'm sitting down. I gotta.
Some people can hover. Here's my theory. Here's what I would do. If both bathrooms or toilets were just wrecked, I would do the hover maneuver. I would get out of there and I'd go to the next place I can find a bathroom. Okay. I just let enough out to get by for a few minutes and find another bathroom.
I'm like in Dumb and Dumber when Jim Carrey's like, when Lloyd Christmas is like, I can't stop once I start. I would not be able to cut off my poo after the floodgates have been opened. It's done. There's nothing stopping it. Derek's
I never
giggling, but Derek, is that your experience too? Can you cut it off?
No, well, no, I can't cut it off. It stings, as he says in the film. I'm just giggling over the hover maneuver, which, by the way, was invented in 1950 by Dr. Joseph Hover. The hover maneuver, very popular in dirty gas station bathrooms.
It's very popular with ladies because they have to sit down. I mean, technically, I guess they could try not to, and they've created apparatuses. That's a whole nother show. We could talk about the apparatuses that have been created for women to stand up and pee.
Or for God, stand up and pee like it's sports games. So yeah, that's a whole
trough. Yeah. All right.
So you need a contingency plan. That's what you're asking for, Scott.
So Dr. Hover is popular with the ladies. But go ahead. What would you do, Derek? Besides going to the ladies' restroom, what's your go-to move?
If I can't use I probably would just do my best to make the bathrooms like crappable. But if like they're broken and you can't like hover or like put a bunch of paper towels on something to sit on,
right?
You know, I guess crap in the trash can.
Oh,
that's
gosh.
That's the worst. I mean, you can't make it worse, can you? If it's already a train wreck, what's one more piece of trash?
Right. I know of a person that was so sick and the stalls were both taken that actually did their deuce in the urinal. Now was
it you?
No. I don't think I could do that.
Could you imagine walking up to a urinal like, man, I really got to take a leak. Hello. You walk up there and you're like, what the heck is that?
Well, I mean, yeah. I feel bad, but it's hilarious at the same time for the person. But it was not me. I couldn't do that. It would probably just mess my pants. I hate to say it. But usually, Derek, just like you, I try to do the best cleanup that I can, and I hang on to my pants so they don't touch the floor. Because let's be real, there's some nastiness on the floor. All right. So speaking of that, when I was in college, at community college, before I went to real adult college, I was in community college, and it was at the library. And as I've been known to do, I've had some of the Hershey squirts, and went into the bathroom at the library. Every single stall was just a complete train wreck of absurdity, and the toilet that I chose they were all plugged too. That was the other horrible thing, because I tried to give the old flusheroo on every one of them, and they just kind of gurgled a little bit and then settled. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally going to have to take a crap on top of somebody else's crap. This is the grossest thing ever. And I have a lot of like poo issues and all that kind of stuff. I get really freaked out about making sure. Yeah. So go in, find the one that's the best, do the best cleanup job that I can, and just unleash. Now, in the middle of this, I start to feel like the heat of that fresh Hershey squirt is getting really dangerously close to my cheeks, like rising. And wouldn't you know it, because I flushed all of them, it was starting to get to the point of overflow. And I was feeling the hot heat of my disaster rise up. And so I quickly, of course, was just like, oh my gosh, my poop and somebody else's poop is about to touch my butt. I got to get up. I cleaned up and got out of there as quick as I can. And as I'm about to exit the stall, everything begins to spill over the top of that toilet onto the floor. I mean, everything is coming out of this toilet. And I hightailed it out of that library so fast. because I was like, someone's going to walk in there right behind me and be like, oh my gosh, this dude just shit in here and there's shit everywhere. Oh my gosh, look at all this shit. So I got out of there. So that's one of them. I got a better story, but I want you guys to go ahead and tell yours next.
Did you drop out of college after that?
No. But you know what I was thinking when we were talking about doing this? I was thinking to myself, this was when I was in college. Like, this is in the 90s. Okay, that's how old I am. Early 90s. There wasn't like the prevalence of security cameras everywhere that there is now. So I just kept thinking to myself, if you did that now, you're ending up on YouTube. Someone's going to find that camera somewhere that has you fleeing the scene of your poo spilling over the top of the bowl onto the floor and into the whole entire restroom. And I mean, I'm underselling how much this toilet overflowed. I mean, the floor was literally, because I wanted to wash my hands too, so I tried to wash my hands. I had to get out of there mid-wash because the water was coming closer and closer to where I was washing my hands. I had to get out of there.
Yeah. So this was basically a scorched earth scenario.
Oh, yeah.
You're never going back there.
By the time I was out the front door of the library, I guarantee you it had started probably seeping out the door entrance into the library.
Wow.
Go ahead. Top that, guys. Go.
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, when several years ago, I used to work nights driving a truck, and I'd be in rural areas, some suburban areas. But one night when I was in a rural area, there was basically one gas station. I think it was a 7-Eleven or what was called a White Hen before 7-Eleven bought them. And of course, one bathroom in this whole place. It's a transgender bathroom, so whichever one. And
it's not transgender. It's either gender.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Transgender mean they changed to the other gender.
It's a both person bathroom. How about
unisex?
Okay.
I believe that's
unisex. I think is the word. Yes.
Transgender, unisex, same thing.
It's the word we used back in the early '90s, though.
So I walk into this place. I park a large truck in the parking lot. And I've really got to go. So I wound up going in there and I'm like, do you have a washroom I can use? And the person's like, yeah, it's for paying customers only. I'm like, okay, well, I'll buy something after I'm out of the washroom. No, you have to buy it first. So, of course, I buy like a pack of gum or something to use a bathroom. And I walk into this bathroom and there is feces on the walls, smeared. You could tell it was smeared by a person's hand. There was no toilet paper. The bowl was overflowing. There was no urinal. It was just a single bowl. The tank on the back, the top of it was missing. So this was just an open, I thought about doing an upper decker, but I walked into the bathroom and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go anywhere. There's no paper towels. There's no soap. There's no nothing. And I'm just standing there, garbage can overflowing. And I'm just standing there like, there is crap all over the wall. This place is a mess. And I went back and told the employee, and they're like, oh, we cleaned the bathroom an hour ago. I'm like, obviously not. You have not seen it. Do you have another bathroom? They're like, no. I said, is there another gas station around or anything? No. So I got to go outside that night. Had no choice.
And I paid.
I bought a pack of gum, but hey, I stole some napkins for the road. So I wound up having to do my thing outside.
The best part of that story was that you thought about doing an upper decker.
Well, hey, if the one is plugged, you got to consider it. But I would have had to have walked through feces just to get do decker. So I'm like,
people are so gross, man.
This and that. I just don't get who is the person that just smeared it all over the wall. I mean, you could see like finger trails.
An insane person.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, somebody's walking around with poop on their hands. But yeah, I've got more stories too. I could tell you about rest areas. I could tell you about shops, all kinds of stuff. But I mean, I'll let Derek rattle off something if he's got it.
Yeah, Derek, what's yours? This is going to be good because he works in the medical field.
You mean Derek the nurse? Look, guys.
Now this is your own personal poo hell, not somebody else's.
hey guys, I got it. Don't you worry about a
I
thing.
just want to make sure we're all admitting that we've had to do some heinous things, so we want to hear yours.
Look, you guys with your hover maneuvers and your upper deckers. Yes, I am in the medical field, and yes, I mean I've had some. I could tell you stories about things that have happened regarding poo just this week. That would be like, ugh. But why don't we roll this back about 10 years? We're gonna go to Iraq.
Oh boy.
Oh gosh.
So, if you don't know, I did spend 6 years in the military in the Air Force, but after that, I got a job as a contractor for the working for the United States government in Iraq doing
a mercenary.
No, I was not a mercenary. I was
Derek
not a
actually
mercenary.
killed Saddam Hussein.
No, I was close. I mean, I was in Iraq whenever they found him, but that's a different time. No, I was basically a glorified driver's license clerk. Not that interesting, but I did work with the Marines, and we had an office. And as you may imagine, there was not a lot of the toilets were not abundant. Like the permanent toilets were not quite abundant. So let me tell you, the military has really evolved and has stepped up their game with Porta-John technology. So for 2 years, I used nothing but Porta-Johns.
In the Iraq heat.
In the Iraq heat. And let me tell you, whatever blue liquid they got going on, it's
the finest the American government can supply. That's
perfecto.
Great great blue liquid.
You would not imagine, but I think they did. They would come out and they would clean the Porta-Johns and change out the blue water like once a week.
Oh gosh.
And as Blue Day approached, or whatever day approached, guys, it's Friday. The Porta-John cleaning truck's coming. As that day would get closer, the stench inside the Porta-Johns the quality would drop off as cleaning day approached.
That would be horrible.
But there were
Derek, get to the point, man. What happened to you?
Oh,
he's like dreaming about it. I'm
sorry, my
Marine liquid. It was a crisp November morning. Come on,
sorry,
dude.
I'm setting the scene. Stop it. The Marines he got a package from home. It was like dried fruit, a bag of fruit, like a 3-pound bag of fruit. Okay. And I said, I want the prunes. And he goes, I dare you to eat all the prunes right now. And when a Marine dares you to do something, you got to do it. So I ate like a half pound of prunes, and I was unleashing. But I had to unleash on my own in the Porta-John every 5 minutes. Oh. And it got bad.
Were you getting to the point where your own prune juice was getting to the top of the blue liquid?
Not quite, but sometimes just right.
You get like a little chunk that would hit the blue liquid.
The bounce back. The bounce back would like, you're like, ah!
When you have such a force of your poo that you get your own splashback, that's always great. Yeah. That's amazing.
When Derek came back from Iraq, all his tidy whities were just blue in the back.
just had little blue splatter marks on them.
where he pulled them up and it's just the blue soaked in. So I've got something I've got to ask you guys about.
Okay, go.
I kind of told you guys ahead of the time that I wanted to say this real quick, but you guys help me come up with a theory for me. So I know this guy that he lives in a nice neighborhood, all that stuff. He's got neighbors all around him. His child plays with the other neighborhood kids, and they've got some neighbors right next door that the little girl next door, no matter where she is, She could be in her own backyard. She could be down the block. Wherever this little girl is, runs all the way back to his house and takes a dump in his bathroom. So if she's in her own backyard, she will run into their house and take a dump in their bathroom. This happens constantly.
Do they lock the door?
Well, they don't lock the house door, but even if the kids are just playing, because the kids play together, you know, so he's got a kid and the neighbor's got a kid and they play together, and he doesn't want to be the, you know, the awkward person to say, hey, little girl.
Obviously you. Who's the girl?
It's not me.
Are you sure?
It's somebody that I work with, but
Okay.
Bob, are you the little girl, Bob? Are you the little girl?
Are you the little girl?
it's not even in this state. So I was trying to we've been trying to come up with some theories why this little girl constantly runs to his house to take a dump.
Is there been some kind of Pavlov's dog thing going on? Did they train her to poop at this person's house or what? Did she
No,
get potty trained there?
no, she did not. They're friendly with the neighbors, but the kids play together.
But it's not like they're not like best friends, like family, like they hang out all the time.
No, they're just neighbors, regular neighbors. But the kids are like best friends.
Does this little girl hate the people, the parents?
No. The little girl likes the parents.
Whenever this girl comes in the house to take a dump, do they ask her, "Why do you always come here to take a dump?"
Well, the guy's not going to ask just because that's an awkward thing with a young little girl.
How old is
Little
she?
girl.
Like 10, I think.
Dude, no. She's old enough. What are you coming into my house to take a shit for is what I would say.
And, well, he's not going to be the person to say that. It's not appropriate.
Where's the wife?
Well, he's gotten his wife involved and talked about it, but the girl doesn't have a reason. So I'm trying to figure out if you guys have theories to why this little girl is crapping at his house.
I think it's
She's
a long
comfortable.
con.
She's comfortable. Long con. Is this some sort of Ocean's 11 plot?
It is. It's a long con, dude. She's building up some kind of. Somehow she's taking revenge on somebody by dumping at their house every day.
Well, I thought it was like she was a drug dealer or something, and she's stashing her stash in the back.
That's true. Maybe she deals out of the back of the toilet.
All right. I mean, I know y'all are doing this for comedic purposes and whatever, you know. But
Derek, let's give us a medical opinion. Go ahead.
Let's cut out some long cons and drug deals. Little 10-year-old girl takes a dump frequently in this house. She's probably comfortable in that bathroom. Maybe it smells nice. Maybe they got some vanilla scented candles or some nice wallpaper. Maybe they got fun magazines or coloring books to read or something. I don't know. Do people read coloring books?
No, they color in them.
Oh, okay, but you know what I'm saying. Sometimes an environment just relaxes you. Maybe it's the lighting. Maybe it's the colors. Maybe it's the smells or the suppression of smells.
Go ahead, Bob.
Maybe the toilet paper's nice.
Well, that was one of my theories. But what's wrong with pooping at home? Wouldn't you be most comfortable to poop at home? Why would you have to poop in your neighbor's house?
So here's the thing. So now I'm going to get serious, okay?
Okay.
Here's what I think personally. I don't want this to be true, but here's my expert opinion. I did minor in psychology in college, and I did graduate, so I'm totally a doctor in this area.
The poop
I think maybe something bad happened at her home when she went to the bathroom, or she has a bad experience at home or with a certain person or something. That's the only thing I can think, is that I don't want to say she was abused or anything like that, because then we'll really bring the show down.
Toilet, and now she's afraid of the toilet.
Yeah, maybe she plugged her toilet. Maybe they have a sucky toilet at her house, and she plugged it a bunch of times, and her parents were like, "Son of a, you plugged the toilet again!" And they get all mad, and so she's like, you know what? Every time I poop at Sally's house, this never happens. So maybe she goes there.
Maybe she poops at her house too. Maybe she just has to poop a lot.
No, but he's saying she could be way far away and run to their house to go to the bathroom. Say that again, Bob.
Yeah, she could be in her own backyard. She can be, down the block, and she just runs to this house and unleashes.
I don't know. I think my original theory is correct.
I think there needs to be some type of child protection people talk to this kid and ask what the deal is.
Some CPS involved, and I want you to update us on a future episode, Bob.
I will make sure to follow up on this story and bring it. Any breaking news right here to work.
We need to bring this saga to a conclusion. We need to know
the sad thing is that's where most stuff goes. Like when you think about these really weird things that kids do, it usually goes back to somebody's either abusing them or it made them very self-conscious about something and they freak out. Especially poop related stuff. Usually this episode took a total U-turn here, but usually poop related stuff is related to some type of abuse, not sexual necessarily, but just like, where the kid feels unsafe or feels like judged or something like that. So,
well, I will bring this to the person, the home involved, and
I bet
find
they're
out.
Going to be really happy to hear that.
I told him, I said, at some point I will be discussing this on the show, and he's like, no.
Somebody just threw something out Derek's door. What is that?
A
my
dog.
Oh.
Yeah. My dog came outside.
That's weird that his dog turned the handle, opened it,
I know.
and just...
Your dog's well trained. Okay, listen.
They are.
We could keep going here because I've got the best story because I don't want to end it on a child abuse pooping at my house story.
Well, we have time for you to run through your story faster than Derek ran through his?
Yes.
Sorry. Apologies.
It was fun. Derek, it was good. We're just messing with you, man.
You did build a nice story, and I envisioned these porta potties along sand dunes and just...
Yeah, there you go. Iraqis yelling in the background.
That's how they do it.
I know.
All right, let's hear your story.
All right, listen. I think I've told this story to everybody.
Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate it.
we can talk about it another day. I don't care. But I've told...
No, go ahead. I'll shut up
Bob,
now.
you've definitely heard this story about when I worked at the radio station.
Yes.
Yeah. This
But
is
go
a
ahead.
classic.
Go ahead.
I'll try and make it really super short. So here's the deal. One of the first jobs I got in radio where I actually got to be on the air was at this little station in Michigan. And I got the job because the guy that had it before me always showed up late. So the first day I get the job, what do? I wake up late. So I have to haul ass to get to this job. And I'm a morning pooper, okay? I did not have time to go poo. And the way the radio station was set up, you had to go up 2 flights of stairs and down 2 flights of stairs to get to the bathroom, but the studio was 2 flights of stairs up. I was the only person there. It was on the weekend. I had to poo. I was not going to be able to get out of the studio for 4 hours because I had to press all these buttons because it was satellite stuff. I had to trigger things. So I'm sitting there and just it's getting to the point where I'm like, I'm definitely going to crap my pants. And 3 hours and 58 minutes go by, and I'm standing up, I'm dancing at the console, just waiting for the opportunity to try and run down these steps to go to the bathroom. And all of a sudden, my butt literally just goes, I can't hold this anymore. And it just goes like a whole... I'm not talking like I got sick and had a diarrhea. I'm talking a full load of shit. Piles out. And I scream at the top of my lungs, no! And put my hand behind my shorts like I think somehow that's going to stop it. And I just feel the heat and the warmth of that load piling into my hand. Like I didn't put it down my pants, I could feel it on my shorts though, just piling in and going. And I was like, oh gosh. And then at that point, you're just so sad. You've just shit yourself. So what makes it worse is, so I hit the button, I get everything to go, and I have to walk down 2 flights of stairs with a full shit in my pants. And I have shorts on. And what do you think happens? Because I've got on boxer briefs, that shit starts to fall out of my legs on the steps on the way down to the shitter. So I go into the bathroom and I do whatever I can to redeem this situation. You know, I had to throw the underwear away, obviously, but cleaned up. Then I had to go back up the stairs and collect my own shit off the steps and clean. And then I took some newspaper and put it down. I had this beautiful truck at the time. Leather seats. Loved this truck. I thought it was the best thing ever. So I put a bunch of newspaper down for the ride home. It was about like a half-hour ride home. I walked through the front door. Cheryl's there to meet me, all bushy-tailed, bright-eyed, because, you know, we're just newly married. I walk in the door all pissed off, and I go, I shit myself, and go right into the shower. That was it. There you go.
Spirits have never been the same. His sign-off for the day was, "This is Scott for K-Poo."
It couldn't have been a K because I was in the Midwest, so it was a
W-P-O-O.
W-Poo. Derek, did you find that interesting? Was that a good story?
I've heard that before. I
was going to say.
I was reliving it, so it was great.
So this was our supersized episode on taking shits and diagnosing child abuse.
Although I don't think I can have you over to visit after rehearing all these.
The funny thing is, I am the most, and I hate to use this pun, but anal person about going poo. Everything has to be very clean. I'm very self-conscious about it. So
he's out like he's got a TV tray that he puts in front of him on the toilet.
Put my iPad on there.
His wipes out, and whatever.
I've actually had a friend who has a septic system, who's like, because I do use those wipes because I want that area clean, man. A big dude with a hot, steamy, unwiped butt, that's bad news. You got to use the wipes. And he's always like, dude, you can't use those with my septic system. I'm like, come on, man. I got to clean my butt. Got to keep it clean. You got to be able to eat off that butt. Throw them away. What am I, in some foreign country? Gross. Flush that stuff. All right. Listen, we'll be back on Wednesday, and I have no idea. Bob, what are we talking about on Wednesday? Are we still talking crap?
Yeah, we're talking about celebrities that died in the bathroom.
Oh, my gosh. This is going to be great. All right, so on Wednesday, we're going to talk about celebrities that died on the shitter. How do you like that?
Or in a bathtub with you.
Oh, bathtubs too count?
Just in the bathroom.
Listen, no matter what happens, Derek, tell me if this is true. When you die, you poop, don't you?
Sometimes. Not always.
But you expel whatever. You at least pee a little, right? No, you mean that's not true?
I don't think so.
Oh, my gosh.
I've never...
Oh, Brandy's got a note for you.
Yep.
She was just like, take this note and shove it. All right, we got to go. We're running out of time, but we will talk to you guys on Wednesday. We are going to discuss people who have died in the toilet or bathtub. We'll see you on Wednesday.